So this is a series of pictures snapped by my sister, Easter of 2015, on the steps of our church as we were trying to take an Easter picture with our family. So I think you can see, there's the best and the worst. And we were right at the beginning stages of realizing that we were dealing with what we would find out later was autism spectrum disorder for our middle daughter. So just to set the stage for facts, autism is a spectrum disorder fully, and it deals with things on the social spectrum, on communications, and on repetitive behavior. And its prevalence is rising in the United States to the tune of 3.5 million Americans right now are on the spectrum, with costs that are staggering into the $60,000 a year range, and with no known medical cure and no known medical detection. And it affects right now about 1 in 68 children in the United States. And I'm going to share with you my one. I wish you could see a little bit more of her face, but maybe that's good. You can see Pink Kitty with her. That was taken about a week ago at my work after a session at Kennedy Krieger. And if you could see her, you would see she doesn't look any different than a typically developing child. So in October 2015, after 10 months of speech therapy and occupational therapy and lots of different therapies, we sat in a room and had a line of questioning that really took us into a hole of despair, I would say. There were lots of, I'd say, concentric circles of feelings and emotions, and one of those things that just was a base was exhaustion of body and spirit. About 80% of people on the autism spectrum deal with major sleep disruption, thus their parents deal with major sleep disruption. And what that was for us were things like, why is she screaming 50 times a night or 110 times during the day? This constant mystery and detective work of you're trying to understand their world. And you're dealing with a lot of shit. Both literally, we've been potty training now for 10 months, and we clean up a lot of shit, and we have a lot of binders full of shit, IEPs, and this diagnosis information. So, I think at the core, what was really also underpinning this feeling of despair and doubt was, am I doing enough? Am I advocating enough? Am I sharing too much? Am I sharing her story too regularly? This is actually the first time I've shared it publicly. I've shared it one-on-one with many people, but I thank you for allowing me to share it. And part of it has to do with not just the challenges, but in those depths of despair, the real blessings that have come about in our life. We experience incredible mindfulness with our daughter. So a walk in the woods is the most typically normal developing walk you'd ever have. And we're present with her, and we're present in our family in a way that we hadn't been before. We've participated in events with huge groups of people. This is Surfers Healing, which we just got into again. It's been going on for 20 years, where people on the spectrum get to learn how to surf. I had strangers that connected me with other strangers who talked me home on nights when I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go home to my family because I didn't want to hear the screaming, and I didn't want to face the fear and the doubt. And then we have wonder. This was my daughter at the butterfly exhibit at the Smithsonian. And really there's this amazing sense of selflessness that's come. I've seen it in my son. He leaned over at the last appointment checkup for him and Emmy, my daughter, and he said to the doctor, I just want you to know, do whatever you're going to do for her to me first. And he whispered it, and he said, because she has autism, and I don't want you to let her know that you know, but just do it to me first. And I looked at my 7-year-old and thought, that's an incredible gift that we've been given. So our story, how is that going to impact you? Engage. I had an amazing conversation with a couple outside, and them just asking questions about autism. Create programs within your organization to hire people on a spectrum that have skills and maybe differences and challenges. This was a time that we spent at the beach together. This idea of changing your perspective to really change your perception of the bad kid that you see at Target or the bad parents that you think aren't disciplining their children correctly. Let's do it for future generations. April is Autism Awareness Month, and on April 10th, which was Monday, Sesame Street came out with a new character, Julia, who has autism. And I think training having our children exposed to diversity and what is a very prevalent disorder is helpful. So tomorrow, I turn 40. Yes. the biggest cheer. So you get real reflective at this time. So I have 2 challenges for you. Everyone here, amazing gift to me would be 10 minutes tomorrow on my birthday, looking and researching a little bit more about autism. Autism Speaks. And then 1 random act of kindness for a stranger tomorrow. And that would make things great.